Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a book video for you guys. I'm gonna show you what I have read in October, and also I will be doing a little bit review on each one of the book. So if you're curious to see what I have read in October, just keep on watching. I read 5 books in October and I'm gonna start with the largest one. This is Anna Karenina from Leo Tolstoy. Obviously, I like this book. I love this book so much that I read it twice. And not by choice, though. Just hear me out. The first Anna Karenina book that I picked up at a bookstore, that was from the Signet Classics. And I noticed the book is really short, so I'm just like, okay, I don't know how long is Anna Karenina. I assumed it was really long, but that book was really short. It's like a pocket-sized book. And then the more I read it, the more I feel like this is too simple. You know, the translation is not that good. And then I picked up another book, and the translation of this book is way more sophisticated than the book from Signet Classic. I will never recommend any translation books from Signet Classics. It was just horrible. So I picked up this book again, and I found myself really enjoying the book. The story follows a few key characters and also a few families as well. And obviously, if you have seen the movie of Anna Karenina, she cheated on her husband. Yeah, but this book is more than that, because sometimes I don't even know why the book is named Anna Karenina, because sometimes you feel like she is not that even important in the story. But anyway, it's not my place to question Tolstoy, okay? And I also feel like if you want to read Tolstoy, definitely read this first. I'm not going to say it's an easy read because it does have 800 pages, but compared to other Russian classics, it's okay, because those people can write. The book is separated into different parts, so it's not so daunting when you're reading it. So, you know, just if you want to read Tolstoy, if you're in a classic mood, I highly recommend this book. The second book is The Stranger by Albert Camus. I know this is such a famous book. It was a lot of people's favorite books. But if I'm just being really honest with myself, I was not so impressed with that book. Maybe my expectation was a little bit high, because this is a 123-page crime novel by a Nobel Prize literature winner. So I definitely had really, really high expectation before I read this. And when I was reading this in my local cafe, one girl passed me and she said, "Oh, that's my favorite book." So I had high hope. And then after the story kind of ended, I felt like it's a nice story, but it didn't trigger my emotions. I just didn't have any emotion when I was reading this book. And that is that's like a no-no for me when I was reading. I need books that is so powerful that will trigger my whatever emotion I have left in here. I'm going to talk about the story in this book, so if you haven't read it or if you're planning to read it, please mute this video or just click off and do some yoga, like that. I don't want to make you upset. So this book has 2 theories. One is that the character is actually just a regular ass dude, and he is not so good at expressing himself, and he is definitely not accepted in society. How he acts is not accepted in society. But when I was reading this, I sort of wondered, maybe the character is really a psychopath. You know, he is probably not so the dangerous psychopath, but he is a psychopath. And then I read some reviews of other people's, and they say, oh, it's just a story about a guy who is not accepted by society and ended up, you know. But I felt differently. I feel like the character in here is a psychopath, and if you're thinking like that, then everything can be explained perfectly in this book. So if I see it that way, if that was the purpose of this author, maybe doing a first view of a psychopath and he just doesn't know he's a psychopath, the book is 100 times more interesting in my opinion. So I definitely don't hate this book. I like the story. It's short, you know, you finish this in one day. What's to hate? But I just feel like it's way more interesting if I interpret it my own way. Just a thought. The next book, I like it a lot, is Kafka on the Shore by Murakami. And it was so powerful. This book was so powerful. I remember myself just wanting to read this book, after you finish a few pages or a few chapters, and you kind of, oh, that's for today. And the next morning, I actually found myself wanting to read this, want to pick this up. And I was looking forward to see what's going to happen in the book. It's just so engaging. Murakami talks about like dreams like reality. That's what this book is all about. It's a modern fantasy, and they got a lot of disturbing things happening in this book, including incest. So that's something you need to keep in mind. That's Murakami's world where everything makes sense. So this book definitely doesn't. You can't really interpret this book in a really logical way. It's just you just have to let your imagination go wild. If you're the kind of person that kind of want the book to explain everything in the end for you, this probably you're probably not gonna like this, because the ending is open for interpretation, and then all the details that mentioned in the book not necessarily will be explained in the end. If you're okay with that, this is gonna be a fantastic read for you. I feel like this is the perfect summer vacation read, and it definitely triggered my emotions. I actually cried. I don't, maybe other people won't cry, but there's something about the book touched me, and then I just cried. Yeah, I found myself like got disturbed and got sad and laughed, because it got some really interesting characters in here as well. I laughed, and I just like feel shocked, and just all different kinds of emotions. That's what I'm looking for in a book. So I feel like Murakami's world it's definitely some world that I highly recommend you go check out, because I read this book on my lunch break every day for 3 days, and I just feel like it's so nice. You can just get away with reality for a while and just to check out Murakami's world. So this is definitely a hipster book, but I recommend it to everyone. The next book is so disappointing. It's this Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I didn't even have high hopes for this book because it's a children's fantasy book, but I also heard a lot of adults like really liking this book, so I thought maybe it's the next Harry Potter, and then holy shit, it's not even the next American Horror Story. It's just, I'm not gonna trash this book because it's a children's book, sort of. It's just not for me at all, because when I was reading this book, it reminded me of American Horror Story. Which season? The season where the clowns, the circus season, it reminded me of that. And some of the scenes reminded me of Twilight. So you know what this book is all about. I don't feel like it's original. It just got this orphanage with children who have peculiar powers, and there's a monster. I just don't feel like the story is that, well, you can be creative with a cliche plot. You can definitely do that, but this book just doesn't do that. Everything is so predictable, and everything is just not interesting. It was a little bit interesting at the beginning, the first 50 pages, it was pretty intriguing, and then afterwards, you just like, oh, okay, so an orphanage, that is. It was not scary at all, and all the characters in here, I felt like they're a little bit cringy. The children with power, and I just feel like, it's so cringy. I can't keep reading, but I did anyway. I finished everything. Still not so impressed. Not looking forward to read the next 2 books in this series. It's just not for me. Maybe if I was 20 years younger, I would probably enjoy this. Oh, wait, I couldn't read English back then, but never mind. Yeah, so definitely really disappointing. Regret it. And I'm never gonna read a children's book or young adult book anytime soon because I'm traumatized. And I'm just being dramatic. I'm sorry, guys. I'm such a dramatic person. Just not for me, not for me. Okay, the next book is definitely for me. It's just for me, only me. It's The Appointment with Death by Agatha Christie. I love Agatha Christie, just in case you don't know that. I this is also a Hercule Poirot mysteries. I mentioned in my previous videos that I nearly finished reading all of the books under Hercule Poirot. So this is a genius story. I don't feel like it's mentioned enough just on different websites because I did a little bit of research. By that I mean I googled Agatha Christie's best 10 novels or something like that, and I don't see this book being mentioned. But I read this book, I felt like, oh, the ending is so fucking genius and it's so sophisticated. First of all, Agatha Christie, you will think that, oh, it's just a stupid detective story. It's more than that. Like I just wanted to say that she has her own philosophies in her literature, and you can definitely tell a lot of the stuff she talks about is really, really deep stuff. God, I sound so stupid, but you know what I mean. Hercule Poirot, the detective, understands human nature so well, and he definitely has his charm. I think he's got that humor. I think he's really funny. He's kind of charming but not arrogant and just so honest. He is so honest and direct person. I really like this character. Yeah, I don't want to say anything because I feel like it's gonna ruin this for you. I don't want to know who died, even though the whole book is about finding the person who killed that person, but I still don't want to know who died. I want to have that shock. Even though that person died on page 5, I don't care. I just want to find it out myself, you know. So I'm not gonna say anything. I just highly recommend this. Appointment with Death. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And the ending. The ending is good. That is all the books that I have read in October. And currently I'm reading this, The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie as well. I'm her biggest fan. Yeah, so these are the 5 books that I have read in October. I will be doing this kind of video maybe every month. So thank you guys for watching. If you watched this far, I really appreciate it. And like I said, leave a comment down below letting me know what are you expecting from my book videos. Do you guys prefer an in-depth review of one particular book or just 5 books in a video? Just let me know about that. And yeah, like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.